Greetings, greetings, beautiful people. Come on in. Come on in. Join me. I am quite excited about sharing with you today. It's really quick, or maybe not. I don't know. Um, but I am positioning myself for the assignment that I have to lead leaders, financial leaders. And you may not think you're a financial leader for whatever reason, but maybe because you may not have a certain amount of money, but neither do I. I don't have a certain amount of money, and I don't know what a certain amount of money would validate us as financial leaders. It's more about the mindset and behavior. So I went to church today, Transformation Church. Shout out to Pastor Todd. Um, One of the ways in which I get fed, not the only way, one of the ways, I am a woman of God. So let's just, if you're not, you're welcome to stay here and be here and check this out, because you can learn something. But this is really for those of us who want to get it right, with our money in a way that is pleasing to God and in a way that secures us for the rest of our life. It's an ongoing journey. I don't think it'll ever end per se, because even if you achieve it, then you've got to share it. You've got to bring others into the know how so they can do it. So then you become a teacher. But I want to start with this idea that we are kings and we were created to rule. And I start here because I believe in order to change our money, we have to change our mind. Everything starts in the mind. So I submit to you that everything starts in the mind. And if everything starts in the mind, then I have to ask, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a king? And if you do see yourself as a king, do you show up as a king? Now, I know that culture, our world, has taken the word king and uses it to describe black men in particular who we admire or adore or think are doing the right thing, right? We like how they show up. We like how they treat others. We like how they respect. We like how they knowledge. We like how they health. We think we see kingly qualities in them. So we revere them and call them king. And that's cool for culture. And as I'm shifting and maturing and coming into my own kingdom, I realize that I am a king. And as a king, I must think like a king. I must act like a king. I must manage like a king to be a king, right? Because it all starts in the mind. So again, go back to be, do, have, be, do, have. You may not be who you want to be today. It doesn't mean you can't act like it, be like it. So you have to start seeing yourself as that which you want to be in order to be it. You want to be wealthy, you have to see yourself as wealthy. You have to act like the wealthy. You have to manage like the wealthy to be wealthy. You follow? And I want to take it back so that we can get our minds right and then begin to keep them right. It's just like money. You got to manage our mind. I was saying all day yesterday, thank you, Father. No, today, thank you, Father, for keeping my mind because I have been through some things this past year and I thought I was going to lose my mind. I felt like I was losing my mind. I felt so crazy. I took losses. I lost so many people, 6 people and a dog in 2022. And I just thought I was going to lose it. The importance of maintaining our mindset around our money is so imperative to having it. It releases the idea of, I need money. When you show up as the king you are, and this is for ladies too, so I'm neutralizing this word. When you show up as a king, as I'm learning, you don't have a need for anything because you have it. And it's not because you necessarily see it sitting in your bank account, because we know we don't operate based off of what we see. We operate based on faith. And then it's that faith and the works we put behind it that manifests the things we want. So, to the extent that I got to start with how you see yourself in order to help you manage money. They're connected. They're related. So, I submit to you that you are a king, and kings were created by the ultimate king. So again, this is checking what you believe. It's checking how you practice what you believe too. I believe in God. I believe He is my creator. I used to say I wasn't a creative because I didn't do like the artsy stuff. But I reject that now, and I'm learning how to show up in my creative because I was created by a creator. And I create all the time. I create programs, I create courses, I create frameworks. I created a whole human. How about that? I created a whole human. We are creators. We were created by the creator. He is a king. If we learn more about how kingdoms work, and we have examples, interestingly enough, the queen just died, right? Not just died, but she passed away recently. And another person took over as king, the sun, right? So we were created by a king. We are a creator as well because we were made in his image. We inherit the riches and wealth of a king. It's already done. So you're like, okay, it was already done. Why am I not rich? Why am I not wealthy? Why? Well, why aren't you? Have you been showing up like a king? Have you been managing like a king? Have you been ruling like a king? And when we talk about rule, especially in the biblical but also in the present, right? In the biblical, Genesis 1:28, we were created to rule over fish, birds, things that crawl, earth things, animals. And in that time, we could say those were resources. So bring it to the present. We were meant to rule. We were created. Our purpose is to rule over resources. Now, I believe my calling and my assignment is to rule, is to lead us in how to rule over our financial resources. And in doing that, I got to first check for you as a king. What, everything in divine order. How are you thinking of yourself. Now, I studied econ in college, everything in divine order. And economics is just the study of scarce resources. It's the allocation, it's the study and allocation of scarce resources. Thank you, Father, because you knew before I knew. So if we think about this, we're kings. We're meant to rule over resources. Resources comprise of all kinds of areas of our lives. We have resources in all areas of our lives. I, Dominique, am here showing up as a guide for how to rule over your financial resources as a king, right? I'm a king. I am created to rule over resources. This is all economics. Economics is the study and allocation of scarce resources. Now, on earth, they're scarce. In heaven, they're abundant. So we are made to do here on earth as it is in heaven. So let's take away the idea that they're scarce. They're abundant. Okay, we still have to rule over them. We still have to allocate. We still have to manage. So technically, we are already given abundance, but we've got to rule it. We've got to manage it to really understand that we have it. So it starts with those tests. If we go back to Mastermind Money Live, the 3-day event that I did, mindset, management, money, you've got to understand the be, do, have of it all, right? It's all a test. All this stuff is going to go away anyway. I mean, when we die, it's done, right? If and when the world ends, it's done, right? So, again, check what you believe. But I believe that while I'm here, my assignment in my profession is to lead us to be better managers of our financial resources because we are kings, and kings rule and govern and dominate and master and lead. So I ask you, well, what are you ruling? What are you governing? You show up every day in your household, right? That may be your first domain. You show up in your household, you wake up, what are you ruling? What are you managing? What are you making sure is being governed? What are you leading? And in doing that, what goals do you set up for it? Right? It's got to be purposeful. So, do you want to have a peaceful home? If so, how do you manage to have a peaceful home? How do you rule to have a peaceful home? Do you want to have a healthy home? If so, how do you rule to have a healthy home? How do you manage to have a healthy home? How do you govern to have a healthy home? Do you want to have a wealthy home? If so, how do you rule to have a wealthy home? How do you govern to have a healthy home? How do you manage to have a wealthy home? How do you master to have a wealthy home? How do you lead to have a wealthy home? Make it as practical as you can here so that it clicks, right? But when it comes into practice, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is why we weren't meant to have debt. This is why, let me take another step back. Thank you, Father. This is why my brand of personal finance solutions is called Master My Money. I'm a king. I am created to rule, master, manage, lead, govern, subdue, dominate my money. It's just a tool to help me show up in purpose, right? Because we all were created for a purpose. So, what is your purpose? And if you're serving in that purpose abundantly, you're mastering things so that you can then serve. Master My Money is the solution for your money mindset, for your budget, for your savings, for your debt, your credit, your income, your protection, your plan. Master My Money has the solutions. So I thank you, Father, that I worked with a coach who actually birthed that brand for me based on the work I had been doing. And she saw how I was supposed to show up prophetically and was like, it's called Master My Money. And then I went and trademarked it. It is protected by U.S. government standards. I have a registered trademark for Master My Money because it's how I show up. I protect my assets. But I'm so grateful that it really is the divine order that allows me to present the solutions to you. It really hit me when I thought about debt, and I'm getting rid of debt. I have a car debt, I have one credit card debt, I have student loan debt. That's it. About 20 something $1,000 worth of debt. So, and I only got a car recently with car debt. So, before that, it was just one credit card, a Target card, and then student loan debt. That's it. So, when we think about debt, right? Debt is what we owe. And we were meant to be the lender, not the borrower, right? So that is a direct understanding for me. Like when I'm like, all right, Dominique, we got to lead financially. We got to reduce this debt. We have to eliminate the debt. We rule the debt. Rule your debt, Dominique. Rule your debt. Okay, rule my debt. What does that mean? Master my debt. What does that mean? Manage my debt. Okay. Get rid of it. Overcome it. Subdue it. Why? Because you're a king. Right. That's what I do. I rule. I dominate. I subdue. Okay. Okay. That's why I got to be debt free. Right. Okay. That's why I got to be debt free. That's why I got to be debt free. Because I rule. I dominate. I subdue. I overcome. Nothing has more authority over me. Okay. So when we feel like our debt is holding us down, we're burdened by our debt. The debt is actually ruling us. And that's not how we were created. So we've got to flip it. We've got to reclaim our status as kings over our money. We have to master our money. We have to master how we show up financially so we can be financial leaders. We were created to rule in the spaces, in the domains that are gifted to us. So while you may not be a financial person, maybe you are a great wordsmith. Maybe you are a great architect. Shout out to P. I see you. Maybe you are a great seamstress. Maybe you are a great caretaker. Maybe you are a great builder of things, a carpenter. kind of like Jesus. Maybe, whatever your maybe, right? Whatever your maybe, that is how you show up. And if you dominate in that space, you will be provided for financially for the rest of your life because you're in purpose and you're serving. And when you serve in purpose, you are paid, you get income. It also goes back to time management, how you spend your time. So if you're spending your time in your purpose is tied to your service is tied to your income. I'm not sure if I'm doing the best job of sharing this and everything in divine order because I got to get you to think about, if nothing else, if you're showing up like a king over your finances. That's it. Are you managing, mastering, ruling, governing in the area of money? Or do you realize, man, I got debt? Like me, I have debt. So that's why I am working towards eliminating my debt. That's why debt free is a goal, because I don't want to show up as a king with debt, right? It's a weakness, right? If you can visualize that, it's like one king owing another king. He's like, I can hold that over your head, right? I could come and get it whenever I want because you owe me. It kind of positions you in a weaker position. Now, just because I'm a professional and I'm an expert and I know a lot about money doesn't mean that I am perfect. Maybe there are some out there who like don't have debt and just have everything in order. But I am clear that my journey is to show up as I am authentically. And guess what? That's what's meant by giving God the glory. Because if I show up with debt and then I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing to reduce my debt, and then I become debt free, you've witnessed my journey. You've witnessed what God has done in me. Who gets the glory? He does. That's why when you're feeling like, oh, I don't have this in order, I don't have that in order, I don't have that degree, so I can't go teach people, I don't have this credential, so who's going to listen to me? He don't want you to show up with everything in order. He wants you to show up so that you can reach who you're supposed to reach, and then they will be attracted to the journey too, because they're like, oh, I don't have it in order either. We can get it in order together. I can see her getting in order. I can see him getting it in order. And he kind of ahead of me. She kind of ahead of me. She's done a few things. He's done a few things. They hit that milestone. I haven't hit that yet. That's why it's important to show up authentically when you don't feel ready, because God is going to use you to attract those he's trying to reach, that you can then impact their lives because of the small or big things you've accomplished, that others can then find solutions in. And now you're leading them to their solution. Who gets the glory? He does. That's kingdom. That's kingdom, y'all. It's not culture. I learned, like, because I was like, culture had taught me to go find the coach, the person who's done it, right? And then that's when we come out. We come out when we've done it, when we've made the million, when we've reached the million followers, when we've reached a million downloads, when we come out then. No diss to them. I don't know their journey and I don't know their calling with God. I just know mine. And I realize, if I'm going to play in this space, this social media space, if I'm going to put my life on blast, you got to be vulnerable. And vulnerability comes with authenticity. And it's not easy. And it's the assignment. Because you see me in my raw form. You see me with it not all together. But I got a lot of knowledge. But knowledge is not, or let me say, I have a lot of education. I know a lot, right? Because I've done it. I've worked with millionaires. I've seen the blueprint. I see how to do it. And I do it and then I fail and then I got to start over. And then I do it and then I grow and then I might fail and then I might have to start over. And now I'm at the point where I don't have to always start over. The foundation is solid. So I can fail, but my foundation won't crack, right? And that's where I want to get us to a place and a space financially where you're failing, you're pioneering wealth. And I need to go look that up. You are a wealth pioneer. If you've never seen it before your very eyes, now you've got to study it. Now you got to go find others who've done it, right? That's what like the Beyonce and Jay-Z's and the Robert Smiths and the Tyler Perry's and the Oprahs, that's what they represent. They represent, okay, well, if they did it, I can do it. But I don't know them. I don't know them. And I don't think any of them have put out a wealth book yet, which I wish they did. But until then, I study them. I study what they've done. That's my mentors in my head. I study other people too, non black people. So, and they've put it in books. Interestingly enough, dang. Well, thank you, Father, because I put mine in a book too. So, hey, I guess I can pioneer in that way. Um, so, this is where rubber meets the road. Start seeing yourself as the king that you are. And if you're going to show up like a king in the kingdom, then you've got to rule, manage, master, dominate, subdue every area of your life. It's not easy. It's going to require discipline. It's going to require focus. It's going to require humbling yourself, so humility. It's going to require honesty, transparency, integrity. You may have to separate yourself. You may not be able to do everything. You may not be able to indulge. I like to submit to the order so I don't have to sacrifice all the time. Sometimes sacrifice is necessary. But I believe if you submit to the order for your life, you won't have to sacrifice, which is really when you're kind of forced to do things. Don't make God force you to get your money in order. You won't like it then. Let's submit to the order. The order of things, again, everything in divine order. The order of things is that you were created with a divine purpose to rule over resources. When it comes to your financial resources, you must rule, you must master, you must manage, you must dominate, you must lead. So think about how you're not doing that. And that's where you can start. Choose one area. Remember, I educate on the 8 core areas of your financial foundation: mindset, budget, savings, debt, credit, income, protection, financial action plan. Choose one. Start there. Look at that area and see how you're not ruling. Mindset. Maybe you think, that you don't have enough. I don't have enough to do this. I don't have enough to do that. That's a great place to start, to shift your mindset around the resources you have, right? Are you out homeless out on the street with nothing? Because if not, then you got a lot. And you just have to shift how you're using that. You have to shift what it's doing. Maybe it's doing too much. If you feel overextended, it's because you are. Reduce some of those expenses. Get rid of things that you absolutely don't need. Yes, it may feel boring for a while. Netflix is not a need. Yes, it's only what, $8, $12? I don't even know because I don't pay for it. And hey, let somebody else pay for it and use their account. You're on a mission. Serious, right? If you really want it, but you don't want to pay for it, see what good old friend is going to let you, use their Netflix for a while. And maybe that's how you start to tap in. But guess what? When you don't have it, your time is back. You're not watching movies all the time, which means you can show up in your purpose more. You can begin to research how you can show up in your purpose and then reach people and then charge for that and then make money from it. Purpose tied to your time to your service, time to your income. Think like a king. Think like a king, act like a king, manage like a king, be a king. Go out and be beautiful today, people. I love you, and I pray that this was helpful, and I love to hear your thoughts. Hey, P. All right, y'all. Peace.